All right. I looks like we're on now. Hey, everybody. It's Mike. We're here with Crash Bushcraft, and we've got Alan Hobbs with Freedom Bushcraft. I don't know how many
Hey y'all.
viewers. Don't know how many viewers we got right now, but we'll see how many kicks on here. I'm going to open up the question and answer on the inside so we can see it.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and change my resolution again. Y'all excuse me for one moment.
Tonight we've got a few topics that we were kind of want to go over. Um, we're going to kind of wait and see if any of the viewers kind of kick in there, but I'll go ahead and send it out to where everybody gets an opportunity to go, and then when we start getting viewers, we'll check back with it as well. But it's one of the topics is what makes someone an expert in survival, or are they any experts in survival? And that was just one of the topics that I kind of picked out on my own. I just wanted to see how well it was. Just get other people's views and opinions on that. I have mine, and I'll check and see if we have any questions or anything that comes up with it in a minute. One of the other topics that I actually had that I wanted to talk about was basically giveaways. Checking and seeing whether or not how people relate to giveaways. Do they like them? Do they not like them? Or do they help or do they hurt? I have my opinions on them, and I was going to give those out in a minute, but we're going to check and see. But I'm going to turn this over to you for just a minute, Alan, and make sure that we're kicking in the right spot, because I've got about 15 notifications that just popped up.
Oh boy, all right.
Yeah.
All right, y'all, we got all kind of stuff to talk about tonight, and I will start off with talking about one of the things that's been going through my mind here just in the last few days. There's so much going on in the world with all the everything that can turn into a crap hit the fan situation. I'm trying not to use cuss words in case kids are watching, but just right here, I live way out in the country, and just here the other day, somebody robbed a store right down the road from us. The police shot him and killed him, and it was pretty much probably suicide by police because the guy gets out of the car with a gun and points at the police. But that happened today. Then there was a shooting in a college over here, and we're like I said, we're way out in the country where you don't expect that kind of stuff to happen. And it just got me to thinking, how close are we to a crap hit the fan situation, or just is the world going crazy because it's happening everywhere? And this ain't nothing that's just starting. I mean, especially those of y'all who actually keep up with the news and all. I don't really keep up with the news unless it's pretty much hitting home. But what I was thinking of, planning for what if, and so if you're planning, most of y'all already got a plan, your bug out plan, you're going to go wherever you're going to go, do whatever you're going to do. But I think if you hadn't already, you should go over it with your loved ones, which is pretty much common sense. I don't know how many people each one of you have in your households, but you're going to want to go over this with your wife, your kids. If you got kids, they need to know where, if you're on like a 5 minute time to get the heck out of there and get somewhere, everybody in your house needs to know what to do. When you say, hey, let's go, everybody needs to know there's a drill. All right, everybody fall in, do what you got to do or whatever. And then, I mean, that's basic. Pretty much, I think everybody already knows that. But then I got to thinking of another thing of, if you got family who live somewhere else, like in the same town, but not, too close by you or whatever. And this is in my mind, in my vision, I'm thinking if you're going on foot, not if you're going in a car. Because if something happens where the whatever's coming down the road, say martial law or whatnot, you're probably more than likely not going to want to jump in your car and go. You're going to want to hit your feet because they're going to probably have all the roads blocked anyways where you're trying to go. So maybe, do y'all think it would be a good idea if you got in touch with loved ones who live near you? So if y'all wanted to meet up somewhere, have a meeting point or something like that, because if it turns into something like, say, the Walking Dead show, and I'm not saying if it turns into zombies, but like how them guys are, everybody's looking for a group to be in. Nobody wants to be single. Well, if you got a lot of family, shoot, that's probably the best group for you to be in, is your family. If you got cousins who live 5 miles that way, brothers and sisters who live down that way, it'd be nice if everybody knew where, hey, if something happens, let's meet up at the big old oak tree. That'd be really cool. And so I was going over that in my mind, just kind of looking at it, and then I got to thinking about my own situation and probably a bunch of other people's situation. Maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to discuss it with your loved ones and that don't live with you in case y'all want to pick the point or spot to meet up at. That's something I just went over. But then what about a plan B? Okay, what if you plan to meet, say you done contacted all your loved ones and you're like, okay, let's meet at the big oak tree. All right, but what if something happens and that place isn't accessible no more where you wanted to meet? Now, if you don't have a plan B, then y'all gonna be kind of lost, not knowing what to do. It's like, well, the family was supposed to meet us at the oak tree. Well, the oak tree ain't here no more, or there's guards all over there, or there's whatever there that's stopping us from going there. So what's plan B? What's the next place to meet? That's something to think about, I would think. And it kind of falls down to prepping or plan ahead, which is the same. I mean, a lot of people that don't want to call themselves preppers, and I'm kind of, I don't call myself a prepper, but really that's what we are. When we plan, we're prepping. If you're preparing your mind, you're prepping. Anything you plan to do, you're preparing to do that. So, it all boils down to your prepping. Does your kids know what to do when you say, let's go do it? Is your wife, is she game, or is she going to be one of those that say, like, all right, for example, let's say martial law is coming and you are the man of the house. You just got word from wherever on your radio or your scanner or whatnot that martial law or whatever is coming down the road and they're going to be on your road next. Now, you got about 10 minutes to get out that door before they get there. You've already heard they're kicking in doors. They're taking people to FEMA. They're shooting anybody who don't want to come, or just whatever the horriblest thing is you can imagine for your situation. Okay. And so now you run and tell everybody, let's do it. And you tell your wife, and your wife is like, no, they're not doing that. Let's just wait and see what happens. What are you going to do? Can you handle that? Are you prepared for that? Are you going to knock your wife out and throw her over your shoulder? Are you going to leave her? You don't want to leave her and your kids. I mean, nobody wants to leave their family, but something to think about. What are you going to do? If your wife says no, and you got about 10 minutes to get out of that house before something really happens, what are you going to do if your wife says no? And then toss around a bunch of what ifs in your mind. What if your wife says no, and then also says, and you're not taking the kids either? How can you handle that? I know most of you's going to be saying, well, my wife ain't going to do it. My wife ain't going to say no. My wife is game. My wife's a prepper, blah, blah, blah. But some of us, my wife sure as heck's going to say no. I'll tell you that now. My wife's going to be like, bye. I'll see you. She ain't going to no woods. But it's something to think about, y'all. I'm done. My wife just hollered out, you don't know? But all right, it's on you, man.
Hold on, man. I got about 8 texts that came across.
All right, well, I'll go on them.
Yeah.
Let's see, went over that. But y'all get what I'm saying, right? It's something to think about instead of waiting till the time comes where you're going to be at an arguing point. Like, say you hadn't discussed this all over with your wife, or, maybe you just mentioned it to her, like, hey, if crap hits fan, we're getting out of here. And your wife's like, yeah, okay, whatever, cool. But then the time comes and you're like, hey, come on, we got to go. And she's like, what are you talking about? And you're trying to explain to her, and time's ticking the whole time you're trying to explain to her. Time's ticking while you're arguing at her. It's like, come on, we got to go. Well, no, first you tell me what's going on. The martial law's coming, it's a shit hit the fan situation. We got to go. Excuse my language.
Well, I have a scenario that helps getting. About 4 years ago, or about 3 years ago, a couple of gentlemen had approached me, and what they wanted me to teach them was they have a group of what they do is they learn, and they want to know as much as they possibly can. Well, they had the food supply, they had the knowledge of weapons, they had the all of this stuff. But what they didn't have was, if they had to run to the hills, they didn't have any skills at all. And one of the things that, after going to several of these little meetings with them that they were having, at friends' houses and at some of the churches that they were having, it's a group of about 25 men and women that was, going with it. one of the things that one of them had brought up was, if you have someone in your home that is skeptical, that says it's not going to happen, which, you know, no one knows that it will or it won't. That's just one of those things. And that's why you kind of plan, you know, if it does, and hopefully you never have that scenario. But one of the things that they did was, or one of the gentlemen there, he spoke up and he had his wife learn how to can, just canning vegetables and stuff, just to save food in the house. She enjoyed it. And then she started biting into more of what he was trying to prepare them for. Now, this woman is beyond him. But you had to find that special knack that would interest them into it. My wife is in the same scenario that yours is in. She is very headstrong, she doesn't quite catch all of the things that go, you know, about politics and things of how the world is run and stuff like that. But I know without a shadow of a doubt, if something of this nature ever happened, you know, and I have my scenarios on that. If martial law comes, it's not going to be what we think that it'll be. If it's something of that nature ever happened, our military, if they ever turn on us, we're doomed, we're done. Yeah. I've seen it firsthand. I know exactly how it works. But that's not the thing. Is just natural disasters is part of prepping. Is, you know, Hurricane Katrina, tornado that wipes through. Those things are things that you need to prepare for. You know, and it may be that, you know, you do have to sort of, as they call it, bug out to a different location. You may, that bug out location may be just going to a friend's house that's 20 miles away for whatever reason because you got flooded out. So there's so many different scenarios. So if either the man in the house doesn't agree with it, or the woman in the house, or if someone doesn't, there's so many different scenarios that will help prepare and plan for all of these things. It doesn't have to be that the government decided to axe us and take us back to the 20s. You know, we just need to prepare for those things in a sense. And I'm not one really to give a whole lot of information on that. As far as knowing and know-how and stuff, I rely on what I know. And, you know, I grow gardens, I take care of things. My scenario, just in a nutshell, the government doesn't have to come in and take over. They just have to block your borders and we'll take over ourselves. I mean, that's the biggest scenario. People will fight amongst themselves in that. But that's a totally different subject that I'm not educated enough to talk about. Just a thought that goes with it. But I agree with you that those 5 or 6 minutes of the tornado or the hurricane or martial law, whatever it is, we ain't got time to sit and discuss this. So preparing for it ahead of time is the best scenario in all families, you know, taking care of. And, you know, and I think all men and women, they want to take care of their family, you know, and there's always that if and or but, you know, that comes up with it. But once you work those kinks out, you know, you have a lot more chances of survival, because, you know, tornadoes give you about a 4-minute warning if you're lucky, you know, and we get stuck with them all the time around here. And in 4 minutes, they ain't no time for, well, I need to get this, I need to get that. No, you need to get that bag we made 2 years ago. And let's roll.
Yeah. Ramnasellet Tim says, interesting fact, 60 of all food produced in USA is thrown in the trash. Canning it can save you lots of waste. Yeah, that's true. And I don't even know how to can. I mean, I got a good idea of it. I hadn't started canning yet. When my wife and I move, we're wanting to get into self-sufficient stuff, you know, canning, which we already do a lot of gardening. We just haven't been canning it yet. Where did Harrison's question go?
I got it right here. It says, I found that you can sit and think about all of the what ifs, which is true, situations all day long. But what I believe it all boils down to is Murphy's Law, which is correct. Whatever can go wrong will go wrong, basically,
Absolutely.
with it. He tries not to focus on what ifs and prepare for the basics that he can. And that's basically, that's good advice. I mean,
is, yeah.
without a shadow of a doubt, work on what you know how to do. And, you know, if something happens, hope that you've got enough knowledge and know-how with it. So I appreciate that question there, or that statement with it.
And don't just work on what you know how to do. Work on stuff you don't know how to do, so you will know how to do it. I mean, if you just stick with what you know how to do, then you're never going to progress. You know, so.
I seen a Ramslet. Tim had put one on here as well. Did you get that one?
The one about following the link sent them to the wrong place?
No. Interesting fact, 60% of all food produced in the USA is thrown in the trash. Canning it saves you lots of waste. And it does. I'll give you some more interesting facts that I found out just a couple of weeks ago. Your canned goods are not dated properly. When it says you buy it and it comes in off of the truck, I work in a grocery store and I just found this out. If it comes in and it says dated April 5th, 2015, you've got anywhere, depending on which one that it is, anywhere between April the 5th, 2020 to April the 5th, 2000, when the heck ever. Those dates are not accurate with it. The reason that we have those dates and why the government allows for those dates, if all canned foods lasted 20 years, imagine what the employment rate would be like. People would just be buying corn for 39 cents a can when it goes on sale and buy enough for 20 years. Guess who's not making corn anymore in the next 20 years? So guess who's not working? So guess what kind of economy falls down? But I mean, I didn't know that it was 60% of all the food produced goes to waste, but it does sound like a very logical number, because a lot of it does just seem to, I mean, you just go into a restaurant and I mean, they empty the garbage can every 5, 10, 15 minutes of what gets dumped off in it. So
Absolutely. I used to live on the streets in Atlanta years ago, and that's where we used to get a lot of our food, was straight out of the dumpster. And I mean, like, go behind a restaurant. You go behind a restaurant, and especially if you know what you're doing, you know what time a restaurant closes, you know what time they take out the trash, they're throwing away tons of stuff. And I've worked at fast food restaurants that throws away cases of cooked chicken and don't allow you to give them away. They would rather you throw that chicken in the trash than give it away. I've worked at several different fast food restaurants, and that was the rule. But a lot of times when I lived on the streets, that's how it used to be. You know, you go back behind any restaurant around closing time and they'll start throwing away food, you know, and it's pretty good food. Of course, nobody wants to think, oh, God, I'd never eat out of a dumpster. Well, you'd be surprised at what you would do when you're hungry. But Mike had another topic he was wanting to go over. And Mike, you around? Okay, the next topic, I think Mike's busy doing something right now. I think he was wanting to go over that. His topic was going to be about how do you master something, or how do you be considered a master at something such as bushcraft?
if you give me just a second, y'all can go ahead and do that. Tim made an interesting point. Apparently there was 2 of these lights that's going across, and I've got people sending me stuff over going, which one is it? Because apparently it made 2. And one was for the 11 o'clock. Remember, I went and changed it. The other one is for 10 o'clock. So a lot of people are currently trying to find the other one.
Oh,
so
yeah.
If you'll go ahead and entertain for a minute, I'll see if I can't get the rest of them over.
Okay, and right quick, Harrison Nick says, in addition to restaurants, schools force you to get a set amount of food, or mine does, and about 80% goes into the trash. It's sad. And yeah, it is very sad. And we help a lot of countries anyways as it is. And a lot of people have mixed feelings about that. I'm not even going to say where I stand on that. But thinking of people as human beings and in a Christian manner, think of all those countries that don't have nothing to eat. I mean, these people babies are starving, and that's here nor there really. But if you think of it, I mean, all the food we throw away, it's just, I don't know, it's just a crazy thing that we throw away so much food when the world's as bad off as it is on the subject of food. But going to what it takes to master, Mike's going to take this conversation over more, but I'm going to go ahead and, when I was out there on my 5-day survival trip, I was just thinking of things of what about the same subject. What is it to be a master of survival? What is it to be a master of bushcraft? And so I came up with a list. Now, this is a list for my own eyes, what I would consider somebody a master to know all of this. And so I'm just going to read it off. What I got wrote down here is the knowledge I think everyone should have to be considered a master of wilderness survival. Let me throw on these old folks' glasses here so I can see. Wild edibles. I think for you to be even considered a master of bushcraft or survival, you need to know wild edibles a lot. I ain't gonna say all because I don't know if anybody can ever know all of the wild edibles, but a lot. Edible bugs and meat. You know, that's something nobody ever wants to think about. But if you're going to call yourself a master at survival, I think you need to know what bugs you can eat and what meat you can eat. And you can almost eat every bug out there, I believe, dang near. But it's good to know all that stuff. So if you was in a starving situation, you know what to eat. Somebody else just put something up.
No, but
I already read that one.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to let you go ahead and take this over, Mike, so I don't have to read all that off.
Well, I mean, which part are we on? Because I've kind of bounced from 2 different places here. Is it basically the thoughts about considering about being a master of anything?
Yeah, what is considered a master? How are you considered a master? When are you considered a master?
Or an expert is what I kind of went with.
Yeah.
One of the things that I hear a lot of folks, they'll send questions over in private messages, and they asked about, you know, what makes an expert in something, and especially with survival. My personal opinion, and this is based on just my own knowledge and my personal knowledge, and I'm no expert by no means in any of this. And anybody that really personally knows me will know I'm just an outdoorsman that has learned a lot, and I continue to learn, and that's the way I'll always be. But an expert to me is one who has mastered all of it. And I don't see that anyone could be an expert survival or survivalist, because until you've faced every situation, you couldn't be considered an expert in my eyes. Now, could you be a very knowledgeable person and very good? I think so, very much. I don't know that this is one subject to me that I don't think anyone could ever be considered a total expert. I think that you could be very good at this field of being able to survive, whether it's doing your wild edibles, whether it's a plane crash, whether it was, you know, anything of that nature. I think it's the person in itself in each scenario that will either win or lose. That's just my thought on it. I don't know that anybody could be able to sit back and say that they could survive or, you know everything there is to know in a survival situation to actually be able to, yes, I'm a survival expert. I think there's a lot of people that have that super knowledge, and I've kind of repeated that twice. And there's lots of people that ask that question and ask me what is my thoughts on it. And I really have no real specific what would make you a survival expert. What would make you a perfect expert hunter? Being able to track whatever animal you're doing, being able to find that animal, being able to go and, make the perfect shot on that animal to harvest that animal. That would make you an expert in a sense. But when it comes to being a survivalist, there's too many open fields, too many open places to actually go into that to say that you're a survival expert. That's just my thoughts. it's too broad of a field to make that decision or to make that statement that I would be saying, not me personally, because I'm no survival expert by no means. I survive day to day, and I guess that makes me as close as I'll ever get to one.
I agree with you on that. I mean, there may be an expert out there. I don't know. I mean, you look at somebody like John Lofty Wiseman, he's pretty daggum good, but is he really a true expert?
Well, I mean, what is that one thing that would be his fault?
Yeah, I don't know.
We don't know what it is, and hopefully we never find out.
Yeah. While you was talking about that, something went through my mind. You'd be amazed at the people that don't have a clue about this survival thing. I mean, we're all one big circle. Everybody here on YouTube who's in the bushcraft community, survival community, whatever you want to call it, prepping, we're all kind of tied in together. But you'll be amazed at the people who don't have a clue as to any of this. And my example, what went through my mind while you was talking about that, was when my sister and her niece or her daughter was here visiting me, and we were camping on some kind of state land over there. There was a 5-mile hike. We've never been on the hike. We didn't know what to expect or nothing. And we all had a bottle of water. And we were walking, and we walked like a mile, and it was sweating, hot, very hot, sweating. And I was trying to preserve my water to make sure it lasted for 5 miles. But we got to a spot where there was a bench and a trash can. We sat down and took a break for a minute, and my sister and my niece drank almost half of their water. And we was ready to go on for the rest of the hike, and they threw their bottle of water in the trash. And I looked at them, I was like, whoa, what are y'all doing? And my sister said, we're tired of carrying it. And I said, golly, we still got 4 miles to go. Y'all are going to be thirsty. But just thinking how easy they threw that water away without thinking about it. I wonder how many more people out there are like that. You know, you don't, that's totally not thinking right there. But we are used to this because we're in this circle. We always talk about it. But how many people don't have a clue? You know, what if something happened out there and we didn't make the 5-mile trip and we needed water? Or, you know, you're going to get thirsty before the 4, which they did because they didn't get their water back out the trash. And by the time the 4 miles was done, I mean, they were almost dehydrated, panting and everything, you know.
The MI Woodsman, John, he had asked no external chat. I'll be honest with you, John, you'll have to explain that one to me because I'm not sure what you were asking. So if you could kind of type it in there or anything, but we are taking questions if that's kind of like what you were wanting, or if you have if you can tell me where it's at on this, because this is our 4th episode with this and we're still learning, and we just actually found out how to put our name up on it right today. So
yeah, I don't know what it means. Neither no external chat.
Well, he's pretty clefty with all this stuff here.
I'm not. You're talking about him, right?
Yeah, definitely him.
Oh, okay. But you didn't give your shout outs at the beginning either.
I haven't. I didn't.
You haven't got any shout outs?
You got to click on you.
Oh, I thought I was up there.
Ask him, did that flip over?
Did that click over? How do you make it where it's showing whoever's talking instead of having to click on it?
I don't know. Unless it's just the host has done it. Did it flip over there, Harrison, to where now you can see Alan?
I think he means like some live YouTube videos. There is at times a live feed chat that goes beside the video itself. Though I don't know how to do it myself. Never tried it. Well, I thought that was, isn't Q&A the live feed chat, or is that something different?
I'm not sure. I know that like whenever you're talking, it's supposed to bounce back and forth. Like if you're talking, it goes to you, and if I'm talking, it comes back to me.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
You got it.
I'm clicking on it back and forth.
There should be a side chat next to your video. Let's see.
Okay, I did it now. I unclicked me. So now it should go whoever's, but I'm talking and I ain't showing up, so.
You're showing up on mine.
I'm coming up on the screen when
Yeah.
I'm talking. Huh.
It
I
says
don't
there
see me.
should be a side chat next to your video for one to comment.
What about that button up there that says chat? I thought that was only for our chat though.
We're at chat.
It says group chat. If you click on that up there towards the top.
Ah,
to
that
the
must
left.
be inner chat message or link.
Yeah, but I
Did that flip over for the group chat to allow it for it, John? I might start
just
using that
typed.
more.
Okay, I just put in there. Can y'all see this? Do y'all see that? What I just put in this chat room we're trying? I think that's only for us to see. I don't think that's for them to see.
I think it is too.
Yeah, I have to go back to Q&A and see what they're saying. I don't see anything on Q&A now. There it goes. I can see Alan, but I remember the old live streams. It would automatically switch video to whoever is talking.
That's what I thought it did.
It should be doing that now because it's not showing a square around my picture frame or nothing. Say something, Mike, and see if it switches over to you to him.
It doesn't. I mean, I can switch from me to you.
Okay, well, all I'm seeing is you. I don't see me up there. Am I on the screen like right now?
You're on the screen right now for me.
Okay, see, and it's not showing me that. All I'm seeing is you. So I don't know. I have to let them decide how it's working. What else?
It says, I think he means some of the live video YouTube videos there is a time to live feed chat that goes beside.
Yeah, that's one I just read. Oh, Harrison said, there we go. Okay, we got it.
And then Harrison said he didn't see anything that you added.
Yeah, that was in that chat we was trying over there. Thank you, Harrison. Now I see it. Now all I see is Alan. Well, what more could you want?
And then
Briar Goat Killer. Hey, man.
almost there, buddy.
All right, all he sees is Alan, so I'm going to click on you so all they can see is you. I don't know why it's... Do you got a ring or a square around yours?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it goes back to me whenever I click on me, then I can click on you to view it. But there should be a thing here that would allow that to go back and forth.
Well, I just took the picture frame thing off of mine. It should be going back and forth now on whoever's talking. But it
doesn't. I mean,
does yours have a white square around down there at the bottom? A white square around one of our pictures?
yeah.
Okay, click on it and then move the cursor away and then move it back and click it again and see if the white frame goes away. Mine did. Hold on, let me see how
I can eject you if you want me to.
No. Let's see. Okay, look, go wherever you got the white frame around, go to that, double click it. Let's see. And then move the cursor off of there and click on the gray part, and then back to that picture and click it again. Works for me. It's like double click, move off, click, move back, click again, and it should remove the white frame.
Now it goes back and forth, but it didn't. It just took me back to you.
Oh. All I see is you, so.
Well, that's a good thing.
This might be the actual chat we're talking about, though it might be old. Oh, that's a place where to go get the answers.
Ah. See, I like that. See, they're teaching us.
I know that. Yeah, let's all teach each other. That's what it's supposed to be. Oh, we need everybody to know too. And me and Mike had talked about this today. You know, when we started this show, we didn't come on here trying to be know-it-alls and
By no means.
like because we're by far not above nobody out there. We're all here to learn together. We just thought it was a cool thing to have a show every Monday, you know, and we're going to start having guest stars like Around the Cabin. I think he's agreed that he'll come on, you know, whenever he can or whenever we invite him to. And Briar Goat Killer, we definitely want you on here sometime once we get to doing that. Right now, we're just still working the bugs out of everything and going on with it.
I think one of the things that we're both going to have to really figure out is because there's so many. Some do the hangout, some are doing the new live from the YouTube, and it's kind of hard. It's just like when I created this one here, it made two of them. One of them was for 11 p.m. and then the other one is back down to 10 p.m. So it left open for two places for them to click and go to.
Yeah. Did it do that when I did it that time? I don't think it did.
I don't remember. I don't know if it did or not. I couldn't see everything that you had, but I'm still confused at why it's not switching back and forth, because it's always switched back and forth on its own. And I can't remember to keep clicking. Tim, he wants me to, whenever I'm talking, click on me and then click on you so it goes back. And I barely can remember to talk.
Yeah.
But there's something on that's wrong with this. I'm going to go to settings here.
Now it's showing on yours on the bottom down here where your normal little screen would be.
Right.
Now that's solid black and got a little folder on the left side with an arrow pointing upward. I don't know what that's all about. When I click on it, I don't do nothing. Profile. It says Crash Bushcraft is no longer presenting.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is.
I guess you are now, though, huh?
Does the live chat switch thing just work on YouTube? I'm not sure, Harrison. I mean, we used it last week on the Google Hangouts, and it did. I mean, it worked just fine. It would switch back and forth, and then whenever it goes over to YouTube, I think that's what. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think when this thing is recording, it is going to go back to YouTube, and it'll play whenever I'm speaking. It'll come on to me, and then whenever you're speaking, it'll go over to you. It'll flip it on itself. But I think right now we're just being able to allow it.
I think if you could get that white picture frame off, it should work.
I don't know how you get it off. I double-clicked it.
Double-click it, then go over to the gray, double-click there, then back to that and click it again. That's how it did for me anyway. As far as I know, the live chat is a YouTube-only thing. I don't believe it shows in G+. It's a pain at times.
Yeah, I'm finding that one out, Harrison.
That was Bushcraft Geek.
Bushcraft Geek. I'm sorry. They some of the we normally would start this off remote show.
What are you reading?
Well, there's a thing over here that I can do. Or Tim had sent it across, and let's go do this.
No, Palin, it worked fine when you did it, but all I saw was Mike for the whole show. LOL. The first it was split screen. Huh.
I'm sure. I seen a thing that lets you split the screen. Control room.
On the back on the bushcraft and all that subject, y'all, do any of y'all have out there that survival slingshot as part of your gear, or have you ever even seen the survival slingshot? It's a really unique thing. I got one, just recently got it. I'll do a review on it later, but I was just curious, does anybody else out there have one of them? Not the Dave Kenneberry kind, though. The one that's actually from survivalslingshot.com. Briar Goat Killer, have you seen one of them yet? I think they're a really unique thing, though. You can get all these different attachments for it, and as far as being a survival tool, I mean, man, that thing seems pretty awesome. I hadn't used it yet. I just got it today. but it has a flashlight you can hook on one side, a red beam you can hook in the middle, the brisket to shoot an arrow through that you can hook on it and it'll fold down out of place. It's pretty awesome.
It's a biscuit.
Is that what I said? Biscuit or brisket?
You said brisket.
Oh, okay. It says now you're blinking back and forth. LOL. Well, let's face it. Google Plus is just one big pain. Yeah, it is.
They normally we'll do our shout outs and stuff at the beginning of the show, and then we'll do 3. I'll do my 3 right before we end, and you can do your 3 just right after that if you want to. So we can kind of go through with some of the other stuff, because we kind of got it messed up in the beginning. But we got another question that says, I got to say one thing I really liked about Google Plus is my entire YouTube was wiped and deleted, and if it wasn't for Google Plus, I wouldn't have known who I was sub to. I myself don't have any slingshots as of yet, but that one looks worth getting.
That's cool, bro.
I'm learning some of it as far as the Google Plus. I'm still learning a lot of it. This is negative. I have a homemade sling bow with a whisker biscuit. It rocks. He's a bow hunter. You know he's going to have something like that.
Oh, yeah. Let me grab this one right quick and just show everybody. It has to do with survival. So hold on.
And while he's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and do my 3 shout outs that I've got. What we try to do is pick 3 people that we really like, or 3 people, we can't get to everybody with it. But one of the reasons I went with 8-Legged Outdoors, he just recently had a little girl, I'm sorry. So a big shout out for him. I'm going to go ahead and get my shout outs out of the way while you're getting that thing ready, Alan.
All right.
Another one that I've got is Brad Allen. He goes way back with me. When I first started YouTube, he kind of kept me going in it until the point where I wasn't. But if you want to see some awesome leather work, it'll blow you away with some of his leather craft that he does. But he also does some fly fishing and things like that. If you get a chance, stop by and check him out. It's Brad Allen, BRADALAN. And the other one that I have is Louise, Florida. She doesn't do a whole lot of videos, but if you will get an opportunity to check her out, she has some of the most awesome, it'll just blow you away at some of the leather craft work that she does with her tooling. She did a arrowhead in a hand that to this day, it's been 7-8 months since I've seen it, and it just blows me away. But as far as with some leather work and stuff, and the little things that she does there. But if you get a chance, check out those 3 channels for me. If you're not subscribed to them, I'm sure you'll like them. Especially if you, to me, leather work goes hand in hand with bushcraft. Any kind of survival skills and stuff like that. So it's a craft in itself. But that's my 3 shout outs. So I appreciate each and every one of those 3 groups of people there that I talked to, and congratulations also on the baby. So, you ready to show it?
Yeah, I agree with you on the leather work goes hand in hand and all that too. This is the survival slingshot, y'all. Am I up on screen, Mike?
Hold on. Somebody tell me if he's on the screen. This is very dangerous for him having anything that is projectile. I would duck.
Man, Brad Allen rocks. I gotta send that dude a knife so he can make me a sheath. Yeah, he does.
Definitely. He does rock.
I love the sheath he made me. I still use it every time I go out. It's my main sheath. But I don't know if I'm on screen or not. But
can somebody else tell me if Alan's on the screen? Because I've got him clicked on it.
But if y'all can see, this is the survival slingshot. This thing is bad to the bone. I'm going to do a full review of it later. See if I can get this in there. I'm going to click me on the screen so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. Yep. Okay. Now this thing has, you got this tactical light and this is for at nighttime. So if you need to shoot something at night, you know, you got that going on. You got the red beam or the laser beam right here in the center. So you can use that for a focal point, how to aim. Did I turn that off? Then you also got the biscuit. Is it brisket or biscuit?
Whisker biscuit.
Whisker biscuit. Whisker biscuit.
Don't just leave it alone. We know what it is.
But you can see how, and this thing is made out of real good alloy aluminum, hard as ever. The handle here folds down. You can undo this wing nut right here and let your whisker bisker down. if you turn it upside down, it's got like one of those little Rambo kind of handles on it, where you got your little compass that probably don't work, and then you can put all this other stuff like your ammo. I mean, it'll hold a lot of stuff up in here. There's a little survival kit up in here too. Has fishing string, all that stuff, which none of that really, I mean, you can put your own stuff in here, whatever you want to put in here. Lord have mercy, Alan, you'll put an eye out.
Exactly.
Hey, I'm going to try to go out there and kill a deer with this thing.
It will probably be his eye.
Yeah. And one more cool thing about it, which like I said, I'll do a full review later, but it comes with a 25-pound band, but then you can order a 45-pound band to shoot your arrows with, or you can shoot your arrows with either band, but 45-pound will of course give you more power. And then this whole part right here, which is called the yoke, it just slides down to come off. And so if you can buy 2 of these. So it's like a quick change. You yank it out and throw your bow and arrow one on, or however you want to do it. But I just thought I'd share that with y'all. Like I said, watch my channel. I'll do a full review of it later on. Pretty awesome thing.
Briar Goat Killer wants to know how much it is.
On their website, it is well, on eBay it's $139, and I didn't pay for this. I'm not sure if I can say how I got it, so I'm not going to say how I got it. But it's $139 on eBay, and I'm not sure how much it is on their site, but you can go to survivalslingshot.com to see it. And this thing also, man, another unique thing about it, which I didn't get this other part I'm about to tell you about, but you can get a bow fishing reel that slides right on here, hooks on here, and turn this into a bow fishing piece of gear. You know, it's pretty awesome. It's the most awesome slingshot I've ever seen. And I'm not just saying that. I'm not getting paid to do this or nothing. But I wanted one so bad, and I was blessed enough. Lord blessed me to get one, so I got it.
This is Bushcraft Geek. He's also gone. He says, I'm not sure if it's legal to hunt with a slingshot. They just legalized non-handicap hunters to be able to use crossbows without permit. Here in Georgia, they're legal.
Yeah, here in North Carolina too.
They your arrow has to hit, I think it's 27 or 30 pounds. I can't remember what it was. If you're using primitive, and since it's a slingshot, it fell into the primitive part of it, not for the compound or something.
Yeah.
But, I don't know that. I mean, I would say definitely it would take down a deer if that's what you were hunting, but any other small game is definitely going to do more than that. Of course, I personally haven't seen it, you know, but I just know just a regular slingshot can do a lot of damage if it's hitting the right vital areas, but then they go by laws too.
And you got to figure the poundage of the band too. Like if you got a regular slingshot with the store-bought slingshot that comes with a band, I don't know how much that is, but I doubt it's a 25-pound pull.
I think some of the red bands and the yellow bands, or I think it's red bands, they're up there in that 25-pound range, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah. But then this one got the 45-pound, which I haven't put it on yet. Which this one here, the 25-pound is hard to pull back. I mean, not real hard, but I can tell it's got a lot more tension to it than a normal, my other slingshot does, my Scorpion.
I'm going to wait till you get to 45-pound and then watch you sweat bullets when you pull it back and try to hold it for a minute.
I might go out there tomorrow and try to practice with this. My friend Brandon got one too, but he said he can't hit nothing with it. So I imagine it's going to take some practice.
The one thing that I've learned about a slingshot, and I'm not boasting, when you set name, you're wasting accuracy. It's just a point and shoot. I mean, it's just up and just, I mean, I don't know.
That's the way I've seen a lot of people do it, and that's the way I was raised to do it. And when I was little, I could hit stuff like that, which now I can't hardly hit a can in front of me doing it like that. but I saw Joe Adair. If any of y'all are subscribed to Joe Adair, that's going to be one of my shout outs too. Joe Adair has a slingshot aiming video, and he hits everything he aims at, and he's only using a BB as a bullet. And so the way he aimed it, and I tried that with my Scorpion, and it actually worked. So I'm going to do different techniques with this one I got and see if aiming helps or if just pointing and shooting helps. You know, I
probably that Ramsell at Tim, he wrote in Wisconsin legalized crossbow for everyone and any bow over 35 pounds, but it's all different in every state as long as bow fishing. As for bow fishing, there is only a few kind of fish in Wisconsin that you can use a bow on. I think it may be 35 pounds here too in Georgia. I couldn't remember what it was, but I want to say 27 pounds was the minimum, but I could be totally wrong on that. I'd have to look it up. So don't nobody in Georgia take off with a 27-pound bow and go to jail without looking it up.
I'm not sure what it is in North Carolina. I'm sure Briar Goat Killer, do you know what it is here in North Carolina? As far as the crossbows go, that they just changed the law where they didn't just do it. A few years ago, I think it was maybe 2 years ago, they changed the crossbow law in North Carolina where you have to have a permit to get one, to buy one. You can't just go buy one here in North Carolina without a permit. But the law is weird. If I remember it right, if you come from another state and you already had a bow, you don't have to have a permit for it. But to buy one in North Carolina, you have to have a permit to buy one.
I don't know what our laws are with crossbows. I mean, I use my compound, just recurves, whatever it is that I use. I don't think that there's nothing wrong with a crossbow or anything like that. I just haven't found the need yet. Because I'll tell you, the older I get, the more that I can actually tell that there's going to be a day that being able to pull that thing back one time and it's ready to go is probably going to be a lot more handier.
Yeah, I'd love to have one. My brother, which anybody who knows anything about my brother knows that he's all Mr. Big Time Hunter with a bow, and he don't even care to use a gun anymore. But
I figure whenever you can type in Bowfishing Madness?
Yeah, bowfishingmadness.com.
When you type it in and it's the first thing that pops up, it's unlike mine and yours. You type in our names and you got to scroll 78 pages before you even get to an Allen or a Hobbs or a Mike or a Ware.
Yeah. But yeah, my brother, he thinks crossbows are for wusses is how he says it, I think. But that's because he's been hunting all his life and he's in world competitions with bow and arrows. And he had told me a story.
What is it, like 60 yards or 70 yards up there where he shoots it from the road down to his house? And
yeah,
he's
60.
hitting, I don't know if they can see this or not, but he's hitting in a group like this at like 60 yards every time. And some of them are more like this.
And he can split it. He can split arrows that way, especially in the world competitions. He's got a couple of YouTube videos that way. He took one down where he was hunting out of state somewhere as a guide hunt, where he was shooting those what do you call those kind of deer that got like a Lone Ranger mask on, and they only have two horns?
Pronghorn?
No, it's kind of like an Africa thing or something like that. Gazelle, that might be it. Yeah, I think that is it. They got like a Lone Ranger mask on. It looks weird, but he shot one of those on a guide at 100 yards away, and he put that up on YouTube. But he did that with a bow and arrow. He put it up on YouTube, but then he took it down because there were too many people going, "Oh my God, that's so unethical! You ought to be put in jail," and all this other crap. But then he's got another one that's still up on YouTube where he shot, I think it was 76 yards away. He killed one. But yeah, he's bad to the bone.
He posted for what you've got. He says most of the weight limits are for big game only. I think it's 35 pounds for compound and 40 for traditional bows. But you can hunt small game with any bow or slingshot. And I'm assuming that's for right there in your state.
Yeah, North Carolina.
I just got to ask, though. I mean, I don't know. He can't come back and comment with it. How have you been? I hadn't seen him in forever.
I think he's doing a lot of working and don't get on YouTube as much.
The last thing I seen was him and his son had went deer hunting, I believe, and his son got a spike. That's the last thing that I've seen from you.
I saw something from him not too long ago, but I forget what it was. What was that? He was at the South Carolina hunting camp, I think.
I know I watched him and a couple of friends of his. They went and done an archery range somewhere where they kind of walked down in there. And that's something other that I'd like to be able to take Caden to soon.
Yeah.
But all I hear out of Caden is he says, "Why we got a stinking canoe and you won't let me get in it?"
And that's something else to talk about on the, we try to stay on the bushcraft and survival subject here without going too far off. And talking about my brother may have been a little bit off, but it's about bushcraft and survival, talking about bow and arrows and stuff. But one thing I want to bring up, and a lot of y'all already do it, but those who don't do it, I think it'd be really cool if you did, like Briar Goat Killer does and like Mike here does. They take their kid out, man. They take their kid out and show them everything. And I love watching the videos of that. So if you do that, please film it so we can see it too. You know, I just think it's so cool. Like Mike's kid just turned 6 years old and he's already out there learning how to start fires and everything, you know, primitive ways. And Mike's teaching them all this. And then I love watching Briar Goat Killer when he carries his kid out. You know, it's just pretty cool watching that stuff. I like hearing all the things a kid will say too when he's with his dad out there doing whatever, and it's just the things that come out of their mouth.
Some of Caden's things.
Yeah.
He'll get to rambling. Says he's good, got a new job, paramedic. It keeps me busy. I can only imagine it probably keeps you real busy.
Scott Douglas, yes, we see your comment.
Yes, I see your comment.
So, Briar, you're still into the paramedic. I thought you'd switch jobs to a different job. I didn't know you're still in the paramedic field.
Well, I remember those nights we'd all be hanging out back whenever we knew what the hangout was actually, could function through it. We'd start at 10 o'clock and it'd be like, Mike Landreth would always be the last one to leave. Bill Mike, he'd be like 4 o'clock in the morning, he's still rocking and rolling. You just trying to hold on. Because, I mean, he's just an interesting guy to talk with.
And we'd always have so many people in there, and I'd always just slip off, sneak off, and not come back.
But did you have a question for us, Scott?
While we're waiting on that, I'll go ahead and give my shout outs because we're running close to the end of time. My shout outs this week are going to be, most of y'all already know 51 Foxy, Paul.
Everybody does.
He's got some great videos now. He's just now getting into metal digging, which he's been into it for a little bit of a while. But 51 Foxy Paul, if you're not subscribed to him, go check him out. Theron Miller, I think probably most of y'all know Theron Miller too. And some of these channels I don't think have nowhere near enough subscribers, but I think some of these people don't care about having a lot of subscribers. But it's not so much to me the point of how many subscribers you can get. I just think that some of these videos that people put up are so good, and then I see they only got like 200 subscribers, and I'm like, golly, I need to share that. You know, that's something I'd like for everybody to see. So, and then Joe Adair. Joe Adair has some of every kind of video there is to do with wilderness, outdoor, bushcraft, that type of thing. And that's his video channel's name is Joe Adair. Theron Miller's channel name is Theron Miller, and 51 Foxy is 51 Foxy. So that's my 3 shout outs for the week.
On Bushcraft Geek, I was kind of sorry to hear about the second daughter there. My condolences with it. I don't really know what to say about it, but I mean, Caden has been going. I mean, something other that helped with me. I can kind of relate to you as far as that last comment that came back there. And maybe one day if you send me a PM, we'll talk about it. But with Caden has been pretty much my exterior hip bone whenever we go out. I don't know when, ever since he's been able to walk, you know, we would go out and do things, whether it was fishing. And when you see the videos and stuff, I guess this is kind of going out on a limb with it. it's not easy taking a child out with you to do these things. Their mind is different than ours. They function different. Sometimes they catch on a lot quicker. So going out with them, they don't understand the dangers as well as an adult would. So I mean, it's not really frustrating, but it's challenging to take a child out into the woods, but it is also rewarding. I mean, I sit back and I tell you, I don't know if they count my views on videos or not, but I probably watch my videos more than anybody else watches them. But I'll sit back, and whenever it's with Caden, I'll watch those videos over and over. And I remember how aggravating and stuff that it is. But one of the things that helped me with Caden getting him out there was allowing him to just do it. And I knew that it would take longer for him to do it. It would be more painstaking for him to do it, but I just let him do it. So, and that would be my suggestion is, you know, take her out on the grandfather's boat, take her out fishing, and don't be fooled by girls, because a lot of people think they're not into the outdoors as much as they are. But just take a look around on some of the YouTube channels. Some of these ladies outdo us men by far. So congratulations on, you know, being able to think about taking her out and stuff like that. So that would be my suggestion. Just take her out on that boat and really go with her, and you'll be surprised at how quick they catch on.
Yeah. I don't have kids of my own, but I've watched a lot of them. The next question was from Harris. No, that one came up third. Harrison.
Okay.
What is y'all's personal favorite on non-bushcraft shelters to use, hammocks or tents? I've been thinking about trying to make a hammock out of duct tape. My personal will be hammocks. I'm not a tent guy by far. I used to be. I used to have a big giant tent with 3 rooms in it for my little solo self. And when I was camping in Florida, I'd throw that big tent up, and I could stand in there and almost hear myself echo. And I was like, this is crazy. I don't need a tent this big. So I traded that off for something. But ever since Leaky Meeky sent me that hammock that y'all see me camping in, that's a shelter all in one. It's a lot lighter than a tent. It's very compact, and it takes 5 minutes to set it up. So I'm a hammock guy. I'm all for hammocks.
Up until a year ago, I guess, I wasn't a hammock guy. Recently, one of the things that I like about it, lightweight, very compact. You can throw it, I mean, you can just grab it by itself and go. So yeah, I mean, even you learn how to use the hammock. In the winter time, it can be very warm. Actually warmer than the ground would be without having to take all the extra. But I would say that if I've seen some hammocks made out of duct tape, I don't know, at 210 pounds, and that's saying I'm 5 pounds louder than I really am, but at 215 pounds, I know duct tape will hold a whole lot, but I'm not going to test it.
But I'll say this, Harrison, on the duct tape thing, I think that is great that you're thinking about doing that. That's one of the things I like to see is people thinking outside of the box and going outside of the books and coming up with their own ideas. So yeah, I think that's pretty awesome. And you never know if it's going to work until you try it. So try it and see.
As soon as you make it, make sure to send me a video, because I want to see it. Because who knows, I might have me one of them next week, because I'll be honest with you, I bought the Skeeter beater, and if this company don't replace it after less than a year old, I won't be buying no more Skeeter beaters.
Scott Douglas said, my kids learn so much. And then up above that, I have a few things I like to talk about. Okay. Our show's about over, but if you can go ahead and quickly put them in, maybe we can talk about them for next week, or let us know what's on your mind.
One of the things, as far as like with kids, they learn so much. I'm just amazed at how quickly children today, now maybe the kids all along have always been that way, and I just now observed it with Caden being around, but it's unbelievable. I agree with you 100% about how kids learn so much and how quickly they learn it.
And those who have kids, golly, be so thankful. I've been wanting my own kid forever, you know, and have tried and tried and tried, but I guess my little soldiers weren't marching that good. So I never had my own kid. But if you have a kid, golly, thank God every day for blessing you with one or more. What was that other comment that just came up?
Harrison, he said, I just want to see his butt fall. I didn't say that, but I'll be honest with you.
That's
I like
probably
comedy.
about the truth. Mike donated to my survival challenge. He didn't do it to see me succeed. He did it to watch me fail.
I did it just so I could see the suffering go on. Scott Douglas says, 1 giveaways.
Something he wants to talk about his giveaways.
Yeah. You know, it's funny you say that because I was actually going to make that part of this show as far as giveaways and stuff. But let's hear what you've got to say with it real quick and see if we're on the same page with it, or I can go ahead and basically, I have my theory on giveaways, and while we're waiting on that, I'll kind of go ahead and just spit it out. Channels that do giveaways, I'm all for it. Whenever I first started, I wasn't so much for it, but then I'll tell you when it really changed the biggest for me was when they had the Good Samaritan, and it was for the kids. And I was not a participant in that. Shame on me for not knowing what it was about because I had so much going on. But when I seen JD outside, and I've used that young man's name quite often, but when I seen him win and it give him that opportunity to do it, I was very big on, and I do giveaways, quite a bit of them. I do mine a little different. Sometimes I will announce it or I'll put little small things in.
All right, Briar, we'll see you. Thanks for coming in, man.
I think they're a good thing to be able to do and to be able to put them out so that someone can actually get something maybe that they couldn't afford to get or they would never be able to purchase on their own. So I am for giveaways. I actually enter a few of them myself here and there if it's something other I find interesting. I kind of pinpoint what I'm looking for. I don't just enter something just to be getting it for my personal self because I don't really have a large need for a lot of the things, but I do enter for something other that maybe Caden would like or something that maybe even a friend of mine that would like, you know, that I could, you know, kind of pay it forward. So I'm kind of all for giveaways if that's what you were asking.
I'm all for giveaways too on that particular subject because for one, who don't like getting free stuff? And for two, I never enter a giveaway. I don't know why, but I never enter a giveaway unless that person asked me to. And I think I've entered 3 giveaways, but it was the people who was giving the giveaways asked me to. But I don't have nothing against them because I think there's so many people out there who don't have some of the stuff that's being given away. Maybe they can't afford it. Maybe there's for whatever reason that it don't have it. So I think it's cool that people will, you know, have a giveaway and give people a chance to get things they can't pay for or that they can't get otherwise.
I mean, I think it builds a strong community with us as well. You know, it's amazing how just a $5 item or even a handmade item that didn't cost anything, sometimes it's kind of funny that you say that because right here is actually something that I've actually gotten that was given to me. Now, it wasn't a giveaway that I entered, but just the community in itself, how much it's helped, you know, help me out. And I like to think that I help folks out as well.
Why don't you go ahead and open that while you're talking because you know you wanted to.
Oh, I do.
Go ahead and open it on screen so we can all see what you got there.
It's actually, I've held off on this, guys. You know? It's from the Oily Prepper. I had some shoulder pains that I could not get rid of. And I kind of sent a PM to her because I don't know if you know who she is, Tasha. She's She has a little talk show and stuff that she does, and it's just. Okay. I knew that she was sending it, and I have this first time I've actually got to see it. But she sent me a book, and what it does is it's for essential oils. And I had a shoulder pain, and it's called Valor. She told me to mix a little bit of that Valor with some coconut oil, and it is better than any $50 cream that you can buy, and it's very inexpensive. You just rub it into your shoulder, and within 20 minutes, gone. I mean, it is completely gone. But I got a book. I got a book. Now I know how to mix this stuff, what it does.
I love the way Mike does his giveaways too, Tim.
But thank y'all. Thank you, Tasha. I mean, I've been kind of waiting to see, because I was going to purchase one, but I didn't know what to buy. So she sent me this. So we'll have to see, now that I got an address, we'll have to send something back. It won't be anything that I made, so that way it'll be nice.
Did you see Tim's comment?
Says, I agree 100% with Mike. I don't enter unless I need them, or unless someone like Mike enter for Caden, then I'll enter to give Caden the extra chance. And I love the way Mike does it. Thank you, Tim. Most of the stuff that I do enter would be something that I could see that I needed, or I would like to have, or maybe something that, you know, I can pass along. But me personally, I think giveaways are a great thing. It's just a way. I mean, Alan said it best. Who doesn't like to win something? You know, and I have gotten things that people have sent me, just little bitty things that to most people wouldn't mean a whole lot to them. I'll give you an example. Tim, he sent me and my wife and my family for Christmas. He sent some things, and he sent some cars for Caden. He sent my wife, because he noticed that on Facebook she's just into diving, you know, taking pictures of Caden especially. I have a coaster set now on my coffee table that has pictures of Caden in it. I got birch bark, and don't say anything, Alan, because you ate all of my beef jerky that he gave me. But I mean, with all of that being said, I mean, those little things, I do not have birch bark around here. I am amazed at birch bark. So again, thinking you are a survival expert, you are not until you have lit up birch bark. I mean, but those little things are different items and things like that. But again, thank you for that, Tim.
You have to scroll way down to see the last question from Bushcraft Geek. Or it's not a question, it's a comment.
What on Scott Douglas, it says just being out there here.
He put that one in a long time ago.
Oh, okay. But did he ever get to ask his question? Because I know he was wanting to ask a question. And
no, I think that was right after he said, I have some things to talk about. And then I think that's
okay, nail on the head, man. I jump on your case. I need that camera. I understand I think I know exactly what he's talking about. Oregon Bushcraft.
You see the comment? I think a lot of times, this is from Bushcraft Geek. I think a lot of times giveaways at times is more about the thought of them appreciating you, just watching and being, what'd you do with it?
Part of your community and the channel, and so much so then itself, or item itself. There is some great friendships made, and I agree 100% with you. I am truly amazed at how many people comment on my videos, and I personally will comment back on everyone. If I have not commented back on one of your comments, good or bad, I mean, I do on every one of them. I have one video that's got over 12,000 views on it, and it's gotten, how many did I say, 300 something comments, and I've commented back on every one of them. And I always do, because to me, if you took the time to comment, whether it was a good one, you know, praising, or whether it was a criticizing one of them, I owe it back to you to, you know, and I don't, Alan will tell you, I'm not one to argue back and forth with someone about something other. I mean, I'll give you my point of view, and if you really push the the limit's real good. I can dig a good vocabulary that's non-profanity, but either confuse you or confuse me to the point you're like, I just don't want to talk to this guy no more. But I mean, I think that in itself is one of the best things, is that community that we all, you know, and I don't get to watch everyone's videos, and, you know, I try to watch as many of them as I can, but, you know, you try to build your channel and you try to watch their videos, and there come the times that I have to pick and choose on that day who I'm going to get to watch and how many of them, but I eventually get around to just about every one of them.
I save most of mine. Everybody who I'm subscribed to, all of y'all's videos come to my email, and normally I have anywhere from 500 to 1,000 emails of videos. And so a lot of them I'll click off, especially if it's somebody who had never commented on mine. Those will be the first ones I click off. Not anything disrespectful or anything. It's just, I think that I'll more attention to the ones that comment than the ones that don't, as far as my loyal subscribers. And I've got subscribers that's been subscribed to me ever since I started YouTube that still comment. And like Mike, I answer every single comment. And I do agree 100% too that this is one of the best communities. I can't think it. How can there be a better community than what we're in? I mean, me personally, I've got tons of packages from people who didn't know me from nothing but watching my videos. And when the first few packages I got, I almost cried, because I was like, golly, there's really still people in the world that are this good-hearted. And some of the packages I've got have been worth hundreds of dollars. I've had people send me $1,000 when they knew I was struggling financially, which I'm always struggling financially. But I've had 2 people send $1,000. And when it first happened, I looked over at my wife. She sits at a desk over there, and I was like, you ain't going to believe this. And she's like, what? I said, this guy just sent me $1,000. And I'm thinking to myself, it's got to be a mistake. So I go looking in PayPal thinking there's got to be a mistake somewhere. I know nobody's going to send me $1,000, but it's happened twice already. So yeah, I can't think of a better community. And before I get off of that subject, as far as the appreciation and YouTube videos and all of that stuff, you know what pumps me up the most to do the videos I do, and anybody who watches my channel know that I'm continuously out there camping at one point or another, because people love to watch the camping videos, and that's what I love to do. And I've got over 500 camping videos on my channel. But what pumps me up to do that the most is not the money, not the packages, which I definitely love the packages, but the comments. I love getting comments, and whether they're bad or good, I mean, I can take criticism, and whatnot. I can definitely take advice and so on. If I get a comment where somebody's just being a rude, total out butthole, I just ban you. I just click the ban button, because I don't need that kind of stuff on my channel. I've got kids that watch my channel, and so I try to keep my channel as clean as possible, so I don't put up with any, real bad comments with all the profanity and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's what pumps me up the most, man. And what is this next one? I had commented on both your videos, but once my channel got deleted, it wiped all comments. I got to catch up a lot of video because of that. Are you talking to me or Mike? Mike, we can't hear you. You're muted. I see your lips moving, but you ain't saying nothing. You're muted. Unmute your mic. Here, let me unmute you. Say something. Now you got to unmute your mic. Go up there to the top where it says mute microphone and unmute it. We can't hear nothing you're saying. Can you hear me? Shake your head, yeah. You do that real well. I don't hear you though, man. Did you go up to the top and unmute your mic? Is it showing that it's unmuted? I don't hear a word you're saying. All right, let me read this next comment here. You're right, Alan. The bushcraft community is such a tight-knit community. Almost everyone in it is caring. I don't have any people I know in real life that do bushcraft. I feel like y'all are my closest friends because of this one thing we have in common. Well, thank you, Harrison. I appreciate that. And Oh, and he's talking to both of us. Bushcraft Geek was talking to both of us. Let's see. Anything else? All right. Well, Mike's mic has died. I don't know if y'all can hear him or not, but I know I'm not hearing him. And I don't know how to read lips, so I ain't got the slightest idea what you're saying. You have to start writing down on some paper and hold it up to the screen. But we're gonna go ahead and end this, y'all. Mike's having technical difficulties. I doubt. Hold on, he's gonna write something. But we have enjoyed this a lot. We went way over. Wow, we're 20 minutes past our time. Woohoo! I really enjoyed this though, man. I love it when people interact, and that's what we're doing here is interacting. And maybe in the next, I don't know, I have to talk it over with Mike, but maybe in the next few, we'll go ahead and start inviting guest stars where we're going to start having 3 people in here. I brill and use filters. My Clint. I boil and use filters. My Clint. All right, I'm going to have to save that one for when I talk on the phone to you because I don't know what you're trying to say. You still ain't figured out what's wrong with you, Mike? Why you ain't been able to talk? And you're unmuted. It's showing me that you're muted. Down here on your little screen, it shows the mute button on the microphone. And it won't let me unmute you. Let's see. I'm going to mute you. Say something now. All right, now I'm going to unmute you. Nope, it ain't even let me unmute you. It's just saying you're muted. Okay, now it's saying you're unmuted. Say something. Nope, nothing. All right, are there any more comments before we shut this thing down? Both of you.
Now can you hear me?
Yeah, what'd you do?
I just used my infotechnology. I don't even know if that's a word. My client had asked a question there. Did I use water filters or boil? It depends. Sometimes I boil, sometimes I use a water filter. But now, prior to that, I just had purchased some water filters. Now, prior to that, I did not. I would boil the water that I would use.
Tim says you can't hear him, LOL, but he's kind of funny looking, mouthing words. That's when we couldn't hear you.
But
right, I guess
Bushcraft Geek was correct. That's what it was. I had to go into my settings on my webcam and turn it off and then turn it back on. Somehow or another, it must have messed up in between it, but I got it fixed.
Oh, you must have one of them expensive ones.
Unfortunately, I don't know. I don't think I gave it about 30 or 40 bucks for it.
I got the little $4.99 HP one.
Oh, well, if I could have found that one, that's what I would have had, but I couldn't find one.
My wife found some on eBay, man. I don't know if they came from China or what, but they were only like 80 cents a piece, or no, they were 2 cents a piece, and she got a bunch of them, and they were
$80 shipping.
No, they were China don't charge you no shipping hardly, and I don't never order from China no more because you got to wait freaking 3 months to get something.
Did you get all of the community stuff, everybody's questions answered while I was muted?
I believe so.
The bushcraft community is such a tight-knit community. Almost everyone is carrying. I don't have any people I know in real life that do bushcraft, and I agree 100%. Most of my friends that I have a few friends that will go out camping, hunting, and things like that with me. But when I start talking about bushcraft or start talking about going primitive outside, they're like, not happening, you know. So I learn a lot of stuff from you guys. You know, I did a bushcraft confessions video today, and that's what it's about is, you know, I didn't know what bushcraft was 6 years ago. I mean, I just done this my whole entire life, you know, with a break here and there and stuff like that. But I know what you mean by most of our friends that we have touchy-feely, whatever, you know, that are right close to us, they're not into the same stuff.
And that's a good point too, or something to talk about or say real quick is if you are a solo person that don't have friends that like to do this kind of stuff, but yet you do, you don't have to have friends to go with you. Look at me. I go solo every time. I'm solo by myself almost every time.
If Caden ain't with me or his cousin, my nephew, I got to go by myself every time, because most of my friends, they say, you're going to walk where and we're going to camp where? Why we want to do that? And I said, because it's fun out there. And they go, what if something happens? And I was like, what if it doesn't? You know, I want to go out there and see it. Now, I will admit this, and I said it in my videos, Alan is afraid of bears. They can be a bear in a zoo and asleep, hibernating, and he won't even go to the zoo. I get in the woods and there's a snake somewhere around, forget it. I don't like them. Now, I mean, if I see that little sucker, I'm good to go. I will go catch him. It's that thing that I did not see that I'm afraid of. And I'm only funny looking because my camera is exploding. And it makes me look like I'm funny, but I'm really not.
But yeah, y'all, if you're by yourself, go out by yourself. And I think sometimes it's even better by yourself. Me, I would love to have friends go with me. That's always fun too. But as much as I go by myself, it's almost a whole different meaning when you're by yourself. You know, especially if you're doing any kind of soul searching or just wanting some stress relief and relax and peace and quiet and get your thoughts together, it's way better by yourself.
I agree. I mean, when I get out there, I take a journal, and you said that you just started back with your journal. Mm-hmm. And every day I talk to Alan. I mean, we talk at least once a day, sometimes twice. Mm-hmm. And all he's talked about for about a week now, and maybe a little bit less than that, is the things that he's put in his journal. And I agree. When you're 80, if you can still see and read, or even if when you pass away, one of them grandkids grab a hold of that journal, that might be the new generation that we're lacking today, that is not so much into it, is being able to go back and see that stuff. But did we answer all of Scott Douglas's questions?
To my knowledge, Scott, if you're still around, let us know if we didn't answer something. We don't never mean to miss anybody's question.
Yeah, I didn't know if we answered all of it. And if you didn't, go to either one of our channels, send us a PM, and I guarantee you one of us will respond back to it. Alan will take twice as long because he's slower at it. I'm just messing with you because he's my buddy.
Harrison says, I can get some of my friends to go out into the woods with me, but they aren't interested in bushcraft, and my age really restricts what I can do, only being 16 and all. Yeah, I know the feeling. I've been there and done that too, Harrison. But
I have a series that I haven't gotten back to, and because I fell into a lot of the other stuff. I'm a firm believer, and if you look at some of the older videos back through there, your backyard is one of the best places in the world to practice bushcraft.
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
I do it. I mean, I'm a grown man with people across the fence that are looking at me like, what's this boy doing out there with a camera? Does he not realize he looks goofy? What's he doing building a stupid shelter like that out in his backyard in our nice neighborhood? And I'm like, because I ain't got time to go to the woods. So I have probably practiced more bushcraft in the last 5 years in my backyard than I have actually out in the woods. I mean, and learned different things and skills. I made pine pitch in my backyard. I mean, I went and got the material, but I didn't have time to do it there. So, you know, and I can understand, you know, a lot of Alan and I know we don't have a lot of time, but well, we do. We got until I decide to go to bed, but and right. He'll be up at 5 o'clock. But
yeah,
one of the things that we talked about just the other day, and it's that being able to get up and get out and finding the time to do it, and the gap in the age generation. There seems to be, I've noticed it, and I'm just kind of plugging this in there, and it's not an accurate number, but about the age of 25 or about 22 to 30, there doesn't seem to be as many in the bushcraft outdoors as there does to be between 14 and 20. And 30 to 45, there seems to be quite a bit. There seems to have been a gap to me somewhere, that age group, that maybe it was technology was too advanced, or maybe it was just, you know, the things got lost because we were pushing a great economy in the 80s and stuff like that, and people weren't, you know, they were relying more on the computer age coming into effect. And then, you know, of that. But I could totally relate to being 16 and not being able to get up and get out and go and do the things, you know, because I know at being 16, you're still in school. You probably have restrictions that the parents have put on you as far as getting up and getting out and stuff like that. So I could see that. I mean, it would be tough, but don't give up, because you're going to be 18, you're going to be 20, and I guarantee you, you can sit back and it'll be like yesterday. Yeah. You're going to be 45 going, man, I remember talking to these two old geezers one night. Because it's going to come that quick.
Harrison, are you in the Boy Scouts? Or if you're not, do you think you can get in the Boy Scouts? Because that's one way to go out there and learn and do a lot of bushcrafting. And usually parents allow that. I don't know what the financial situations are, but
I teach Weeblos, and I haven't done it in 3 years now, but I was proud today, and I will say it, and it's kind of coincides with what you said. When I got home today, my son was already here, because they go to school Tuesday through Friday. They do this 4-day-a-week thing, and all 3 days, and I don't like it, but that's another story. But he was watching a TV show with my mother-in-law, and he had told her they had a little Boy Scouts thing, and he said, I want to do that. I want to go camping. I want to be able to do those things. And that next year, when he gets in the first grade, which he'll be 7, he can actually start it. I guarantee you that I will be at every one of his meetings that he goes to the Boy Scout, and I'll probably go back to being the pack leader or a den leader with it, one of the two. But I did it for 4 years and didn't even have a child in it, because I've seen so many children that didn't have that opportunity to get out there. And, you know, maybe the parents were, you know, separated. Maybe they weren't into that kind of stuff, you know, but I enjoyed it. And once you teach the kid, and Caden, he's still scared of the fire, but he knows when it's coming. And when he's making a primitive fire, that video we done of him doing it, he knew when it was coming, and he's got it down pat. But to watch his face when he gets it, priceless. I mean, I didn't have anybody show me at that age. You know, I had to wait till I was about 20 and burn the barn down.
Yeah, it's real fun to watch Caden do it, because he'll blow it in the fire and run.
As soon as he knows it's coming to a fire, he's gone.
Harrison is in the Boy Scouts, and I thought you were. I just didn't want to say that because I didn't know if I was wrong or not. My memory slips me, but he's the one that was talking about almost going to the Eagles or being an Eagle. Remember that on one of our other chats? Yeah.
I almost started putting that video together today. Instead, I did one of my other ones, but I'll get you that video and you'll see it'll come up. And it's very impressive to sit and watch, and to have known that young man when he was 7, and, you know, I think he might have been 9 in the Weeblos part, but to have seen him grow into this young man that he has, it's pretty amazing.
Are you hearing my video call come through there?
I hear something.
That's somebody trying to get me in another different video call or hangout. Donald, if you're watching, and then you know why I can't come over to your hangout right now. But I was gonna say something and lost train of thought. Oh yeah, Harrison. I don't know if is he subscribed to you?
I have gained about 240, and I hate to say this, I don't know, but I'm sure he subscribed to you or me one.
I was gonna say, Harrison, if you're not
And if
subscribed to
you,
Mike, you ought to go ahead and subscribe to him. And y'all have one thing in common for sure. Both of y'all play guitars.
well, I play with mine more than I play it. But I mean, if you have any questions or there's anything that you personally want to know, that go to the about, send me a private message. And if you have a specific video of something that you don't know how to do and you want to learn, if I don't know it, I will guarantee you I will learn it for you and show you
Yeah.
how to do it. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm no master at this or that, but that's one of my biggest goals is if somebody says they don't know how to do something, I want to show you how and teach you, because I don't want these skills to be lost. I mean, there's going to come a time one day that we all need to know them for whatever reason that it is, whether it's just a quick one day because something happened and we just need to know it. So
Did you see Bushcraft Geeks comment yet?
I haven't seen, I don't have any questions coming up.
It says, excuse me. It says, I agree. Whoops, just rolled up some. Hold on. I agree on that age gap. I'm 29 myself, and there's just not many. Anyone I've found into bushcraft or outdoor stuff is older or a bit younger. 20s seem to be more into technology and stuff. Yeah, you're absolutely right too. Mike and I was just talking about that the other day, where what causes that big gap. It seems kind of strange to me because coming up, everybody who's my age, I think we were all brought up about the same way. Everybody who's in my age group, and I guess that's the way it goes, is that, each generation, and we were all brought up playing in the woods or being made to go play in the woods or to stay out of the house until you're called to come back in and go play in the woods. But everything seemed to do with having to play in the woods, and the shelters that is in books now and all that kind of stuff. That's what we used to build for the fun of it, like forts. We would call them our forts or our huts, or
Huts.
it's
The word was hut for us.
Yeah, for us, I think it was fort. But
Yeah.
the strange thing to me is I didn't think that would never disappear, because I figured everybody was raising their kids that way. But now that you look at all the different generations that's been coming up since then, and it almost seems like we're slowly losing bushcraft. But then again, it seems like it's kicking back in.
I think
more
it's
now
kicking
than
back
it has
up.
been. Yeah,
I do. I think that YouTube has played a huge part on it. I really do. I mean, being able to see those videos and be able to teach that. And I learn something every day that I turn on to YouTube, whether it's, I was not a big wax and cotton ball guy. Get some wax and cotton ball and carry you some with you. Cause I mean, a flint, or ferrule rod, boom, you got fire. I mean, I never was into that, and I learned how to do it. Alcohol stoves, I never was into it. You watch most of my videos, there I am. I'm right there slapping, my food right on the coals and cooking right on it. It's getting too hot.
I learn stuff all the time too. And I believe you're the one that taught me that, something about hand sanitizer.
Yes.
Most people take hand sanitizer with them, and I always did too, but I never knew that hand sanitizer was a perfect fire starter.
Well, you can just touch that thing and boom, you got fire.
Yeah.
Tim, he does a lot of the reenactments and stuff. He got me interested in that, and I've started making a Viking shield. It kind of runs back into my heritage, as far as my uncle can date it back for us. And I had made a couple of shields and started on them, and I never finished them. And that's something I need to get back to doing, is finishing up some of the projects that I've never finished. But right now I'm really into, one is building my channel, taking requests, learning, as much as I can from others. And like I said before, anybody, or Alan, he'll do it too. I mean, if there's something you want to know, either one of us, I mean, we're not here to be famous by no means. I mean, I never have been famous. I mean, don't plan to be. My biggest thing is being able to pass on whatever I can to you and help you and do it safely. That's one of the things that I try to do most of the time. And if it's unsafe, I generally won't make the video. I have a waterproofing agent that I don't feel that it's safe for. I mean, it's easy to make, but just one mistake, and you know, it could be very, not fatal, but it could possibly be. But it's I just don't make the video for it, and I have people ask me all the time. There's videos on it how to make it, but I try to keep everything as young adult friendly as possible as well, because you know, like I said, when you take a child out, with one of the comments earlier, they're not as prone to the dangers as we are, so it does become aggravating and frustrating, but it's so rewarding in the end, you know, to be able to go out there. And I would say 6-year-olds retain information a lot better than 45-year-olds.
Yeah. You got Bushcraft Geek did another one. You see that one, and then Harrison did one after that.
He says he's at the Gabe's. He's 29, or the age gap of 29, and there's not anyone I found into bushcraft or outdoor stuff. Older or a bit younger. 20 seems to be more into technology and stuff.
No,
and
we already went over that one.
Yeah, and I agree with it though. I mean, we talked about it earlier.
You see that?
Honestly, I'm kind of ashamed to be a part of the generation that I'm in. Everyone seems to be addicted to technology and refuses to do anything productive with their life. Not that technology can't be productive, but people use it in the wrong way. One of the things that even people that are into super technology, if you ever get their attention for 5 minutes and show them how to make a primitive fire with flint and steel, which would be an easy way to get them started with it, you'll be surprised at how many people that will be amazed. And it may be just that one thing that you show them, and getting their attention is hard. And I agree with that. You know, getting their attention, I don't know why. I got a big, you know, and I agree. Take a big lighter with you all the time. Instant surefire is a whole lot better than taking a chance on your skills and the climate's not being perfect with it. I think just getting out there and showing people what you know, people are more interested in it, but peer pressure plays a big part on young folks, old folks, anybody. I mean, if 5 people are saying, oh, that is so ridiculous, you have no idea what extremes that I get called at work. Oh, here comes Mr. Prepper. Here comes Mr. Survivalist. Have you learned anything today in survival? Hey, have you seen, you know, and I just laugh it off. And then a week later, they're like, hey, man, when they're by themselves, you think you can make me a knife? Well, yeah, I'll make you one. And from then on, as long as them 5 are not together, they're cool, you know. But you just have to overlook it. I mean,
and I'm glad you're like that, Harrison. That's good that you stand out like that and do your own thing. I think that's another problem today, and probably has been for a long time, is too many people following other people, especially kids and teenagers trying to follow the ones that fit in a cool crowd. If that's not really what you like, then don't do it, you know, and you're standing out, and I think that's great. That's real great.
I seen that same post on there, Tim. Dave Canterbury, he didn't, the post that I seen, he didn't post out that he's been kind of distant from his thing. And I don't know if anybody knows this or not, or about me. When I started watching YouTube, Dave was the big hit thing. And his older videos, I loved them. I loved them all the way up till about the end of the yurt. And I still like some of his stuff, and he knows his stuff. But I wasn't learning anything new from him. But he's got a new channel or a new show that's coming out. He hasn't posted what it's about, and I agree with it. I hope it's more about what attracted me to his, you know, his site the first time that I ever visited it. Tim had posted, I think it's way back there. Yep, at least I'm at a medieval reenactment event. I'm by myself. I don't think with YouTube you're ever by yourself. You may be out in the doors on your camping trip by yourself, but I think with YouTube we're all together. I mean, you know.
I was doing, Tim, I don't know how far you've watched back on my channel, but I was doing reenactments too, but not the medieval. We were doing Civil War, the Patriot Wars, you know, so on, so on, when I was doing all the Harmony Hall reenactments. I'm going to go ahead and read this comment out here because I keep on trying to point it out to you, but you're not seeing it.
What?
YouTube, this is from Bushcraft Geek. YouTube brings it to the new age and such. Like myself, there's a lot of people that aren't much into reading or have learning disabilities like ADD and are more visual, and YouTube allows for visual learning. And yeah, that's absolutely right. Do what?
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a hands-on person.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can do it, and I'm not tooting my own horn, and I've said this my whole life, you give me 20 minutes in the space shuttle, I'll get us there, but it'll be a rocky ride. I mean, because I don't let anybody say I can't do something. It's just, I mean, if somebody has done it, I have 10 digits on my hands, I got 10 on my toes, I can think, I'm good to go. And like he had said, some of that with the learning disabilities, you know, other than just the ADD and stuff like that, I'm amazed at how many people that you had mentioned, the one-legged gentleman.
One-legged Josh.
One-legged Josh. Boom, he's out there left and right doing his stuff, you know. I'm amazed at that. I mean,
Mike don't even like you to talk about something and not do it. I know this for a fact. I was trying to have a decent conversation, adult man-to-man conversation with him the other day about wild edibles, and we were talking about dandelions. And I kept telling him, I was like, man, I said, I was reading this book and I already knew all about dandelions, but this book tells me so much more. Excuse me. I was telling him, I said, one of these days I want to dig up a dandelion and do that roasted where you roast the roots for coffee. And Mike says, well, do it. And I said, I tried to kind of ignore his comment. And I'm like, it says you can dig it up. The roots go, well, do it. And that says all you got to do. You can put them in the oven and roast. Well, do it. Damn, all right. I'm going to freaking do it.
I mean, I can read stuff all day long, but until I do it, it was useless to me, you know, because I may burn it up the first time. I think that's all the questions that we've got right now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Well, I've had a very entertaining hour and 47 minutes, and I appreciate each and every one that came on here. I mean, this is what we do it for, to get your comments and give us our little bit of feedback that we have. And I mean,
it's fun.
It is. I mean, and you know, and we learn stuff, you know. I mean, we learn from you, you know, little things, you know, like Briar Goat Killer, you know, he came back and told you the weight off the bow, you know, what pull limit, you know. We didn't have to go look it up. Do I trust him? 100%. I mean, he's reputable.
Did you see his comment too, where he was telling you that he's done a few more videos since the last one you watched?
I hadn't. I didn't get to see it. I think it might have been whenever I was trying to get cleared out over here.
Yeah, he said he's got a few more videos out of him and his son since the last one you watched.
Check them out. I like to watch people that take their children out.
Children, yeah.
Children or kids. The reason that I do is because it gives me some ideas as well. You know, things that, yeah, I'm an old man, Tim. Actually, I would be up in about 5 hours going to work.
Where do you live at, Harrison? What state are you in? Or your wife will have you sleeping on the couch, Mike?
She probably will. No, because she'll be totally asleep when I get in there, and then she'll roll over.
Tell you to be quiet.
I don't know if other men have this problem with women or not, but why is a bed like 6 foot wide and your wife is 4'10", and
All on your side.
You get into bed and you're laying like this. I mean, I don't know if y'all can see this or not, but you're laying like this already. And then she's like, get your arm off of me. And I'm like, do you not see what is on the other side? There's 5 feet over there. But I like it right here. Just get back over there. I'm like, where is over there? In the floor?
Yeah.
Or where I just came from?
I go through the exact same thing. I want to say this real quick before we get off of here too. Alabama in a small town called Ardmore. Oh, cool. You're out there by Robo-Hike, aren't you?
Yeah. What was the name of this? I didn't get the question.
I'd asked him what state he's in, and he's in Alabama in a small town called Ardmore.
What's it close to? Because you and I are not far from each other. I'm in Georgia.
He said near, I guess near Robo-Hiker. He knows Robo-Hiker, I do believe.
How far are you from Huntsville?
Bushcraft Geek says that happens with me all the time. I can have at least 3 queen-size blankets, and she'll take those as well.
Exactly. I know exactly what you mean, brother. My wife is very hot-natured.
Yeah.
And it's like in the mornings I get up and the temperature, you know, she's done turned the heat off in the middle of the winter and it'll say 58. And I'm trying to go run and take a shower at 4 o'clock in the morning and I'll crank it up to like 68. By the time I get out of the shower, she's done got up, flipped the air on. It's back down to 55.
He said he's near Huntsville, pronounced Huntsville.
Huntsville, Alabama.
Huntsville.
That's kind of like where I'm from is Somerville, and it's pronounced Sumville.
I gotta say real quick on the first or second show we had where we talked about this book we got, the Free Food
How to Eat
Medicine
for Free
Edible Plant Guide. I here recently I'm on this big health kick, this wild edible health kick. I don't know how long it'll last, but right now I'm enjoying it. And because the doctors can't seem to heal what's wrong with me, so I'm trying to heal myself. And this book claims of all this stuff that it can heal or help heal. But I started working out, and what I do after every workout, because I do the P90X now, and P90X has their own little diet plan for it to work, and it tells you that there's a period from the time you work out, you have like a hour period to get all this nutrients and stuff to go where it's supposed to go right after your workout. So directly after workout, I go outside and pick me a handful of dandelions, clovers, violets, just a lot of stuff that's in our yard, but I try to get the sweetest stuff. Yeah, and the chickweed, yeah, that's pretty sour. But the first day I did it, I got a handful of just all kind of stuff, and I went and made me a smoothie out of it. And I took a sip, and I was like, so I started adding all kind of health powders to it and everything else. But then I got to thinking, okay, if I want one that tastes palatable, or however you say that word, I should maybe just get flowers, the dandelion flowers, clover flowers, violet flowers. These are all, there's tons of stuff in my yard. But just an idea for everybody else, if you want to get into this, all these wild edibles have so much more vitamins and nutrients and stuff than what you buy at the store. So after I work out, I go get a handful of whatever I want that's wild edible, put it in the blender. I add some Attain protein powder to it, and my wife got these. Yeah, my wife got these little bitty bottles of like some kind of Ensure stuff, these little diet drinks, and I might put that in it. But the book says to mix it with, something. You don't want to mix it with nothing like Coke, or nothing like that. You mix it with something healthy like orange juice or cranberry juice even, or just anything that might change the taste if you don't like the taste of it. But hey, I'll tell you this much. I've been doing this, I think, for 3 or 4 days now, and I'm already feeling 10 times better. I don't know if that's just a mind thing or what, but every day I have headaches. Most of y'all know that. And here lately I've been having stomach aches every day, feeling drowsy, can't get up and do nothing. I mean, just a normal drowsy day. But ever since I've been doing this stuff, man, it's like having a bunch of energy drinks. My headaches aren't coming as often. My stomach feels better. And so, yeah, I'm going to stick with it until I decide not to.
They got anything for a face lift or anything like that?
Oh, they do. They do. In that book, yeah.
Start on that one.
I was talking to my mom. My mom's in Arizona, and she was kind of like picking at me when I was telling her all about the book. She started naming stuff. Well, do they got anything for this? And do they got anything for that? I thought she was just trying to find something they didn't have nothing for. But everything she named, I found it in that book. Well,
That book
honey,
is amazing.
yeah, she said, well, honey, what do they got for wrinkles? I said, hold on. And I went to the back of the book. It's got a section with everything you can think of for sicknesses or health wise. And I said, okay, here we go, wrinkles. And there's a whole list of plants. And I said, she lives in the desert. I said, Mama, y'all got sage out there, don't you? And she said, yeah, we got desert sage. And I said, okay, well, take some of that and crumble it up. My stepdad's name's Walt. I said, rub it all over Walt's head so some of that hair will grow back. Because this thing says it making hair grow back.
Get me some sage.
About 30 minutes, I'm right on the Alabama-Tennessee state line.
I'm actually about 30 minutes from the Tennessee-Georgia-Alabama line. I'm actually 15 minutes from Alabama.
Dang, I didn't know that, are you?
Mm-hmm. Well, you know where you went with your brother and sister down there to
that river?
Yeah, Little River Canyon.
Yeah.
I'm 15 minutes from it.
Dang, I knew you was out there somewhere. I didn't know that was real close to Alabama, but I guess it is.
I wonder if he's closer to Ider, Alabama.
Ider?
Ider. There's Collinsville, Fort Payne.
We went through, when we was driving out there, we went through that Alabama where the actual band Alabama was from. They had all kind of, I think that's what it was. They had all kind of statues and everything about the band out there. Hey, don't pick on Alan too much. He's got his hair done up real nice. Yeah, well, I had to put hairspray on
for him right before. I was on the phone with him, and she said, "Stop, Alan. I'm trying to curl it."
My wife picks at me about all this stuff. If I go dress up or comb my hair, she's like, "Oh, you getting pretty for Mike?"
Yeah. Don't feel bad. I won't say what my wife calls the show.
Sometimes me and Mike will be talking on the phone, and I don't know what we'll be talking about, but my wife will say, "Why don't y'all just get a room?" Cranberry juice literally solves ailments, LOL.
I tell you what, it'll sure cure some, what do you call the kidney stones?
Yeah. But yeah, you ought to try that, man. Go get some wild edibles. In most people's yard, well, I ain't going to say most people's yard, our yard, because we don't take care of it.
I just noticed something.
What?
You got that like 1970s hairdo.
Well, thank you.
I just noticed that. It is fixed pretty good.
I'm going to get me a pack of Marlboro and roll up in my shirt sleeve here.
Oh, you got to go way back to 78, 79.
You know, I got a receding hairline now, but even when I didn't, I've never changed my hairstyle from when I was young. You know, we always kept ours parted in the middle and feathered. And
feathered.
I hadn't seen my mom in a long time at one point, and then I seen her and she's laughing, and I was like, "Mama, what's wrong with you?" She said, "You still feather your hair." I'm like, "Well, yeah, what other way is there?"
I feather mine as well.
Harrison said, "Well, ain't it a small?" Yeah. Well, ain't it a small world?
Muscle actually, Alabama is from Fort Payne. Randy, my uncle and Randy went to school together. I've actually been in their house and their houses all over there. He's very hip with my uncle. My uncle actually, my grandfather owned an AmVets club. We didn't own it. He ran it. That's where he got murdered at back in 71, 72. But Alabama used to come over and play in that club. And my uncle swears up and down that that's part of that song that they talk about where they go across, where a boy can make a decent living just across the Georgia line. My grandfather used to pay him like $50 to come over and play. That was in like the early 70s. And then they finally hit it pretty big in 75, 76, something like that. Don't quote me on that altogether, but the one thing I can always say about the Alabama songs is there's never a dull moment, because when they play live, it's always like they'll say, I don't know, like a verse, and then like, yeah. And say another verse, yeah. I didn't fix it. I just noticed that it started going back and forth. Say something, Alan.
Hello. Did y'all fix the live switch thing? It seems to be working now.
It did. It went out.
Of course, it's going to work at the end of the show.
Well, it didn't. It was working there just for a minute, and then it quit.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't been messing with anything.
Muscle Shoals used to have a rock group called Muscle Shoals Band. Bob Seger and the Muscle Shoals Band or something other used to play together, but that's probably about 40 years before your time, I guess. Well, we've actually dragged this one out for 2 hours. Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's been fun. We'll be back on the same time every Monday, y'all.
It'll be on Alan's channel next week, though.
Yeah, 10 o'clock. And remember, we switch channels every week. 1 week it's Mike's, 1 week it's mine. Next week will be mine. And we're trying to make it where it's easy access for everybody to get in, but we still don't know the whole deal. Last week we had people that were in the YouTube comment section wondering how to get here. And I don't have the slightest idea how to tell them how to get here. So if anybody wants to leave on the YouTube comments after we close here, how to do that, that'd be nice. But same time every week. Go ahead.
One last thing, though. For any of you viewers that are on now, or any of you viewers that watch it on YouTube, if you'll put a comment on something, you know, that you're interested in knowing, or something that a topic that you would like to know about, it gives us a whole week. You know, even if it's one day that you put it on there, we only got it. We'll search it and we'll dig and find as much as we possibly can for you. We'll give you some information, you know, unless we get 150 topics, and then we may have to break it down to a week or two or after that there. But that's our whole goal for Alan and I both. We've talked about this, and we just basically want to teach as much as we can and learn as much as we can. And by you asking a certain topic, that makes us dig and look for that topic. And if we don't know it, we'll find out, and that helps us, and plus it helps you as well.
Yeah, it gives us ideas on topics to have, and I kind of like the ones that we already don't know better, because then I get to learn something new, such as when SSANF, I call her Sanf, when she requested a topic on bug out bags for the disabled, like we did on the last show, I believe it was, or the show before that. But that's something I had never gave not one little thought to, so it was really fun trying to look that up.
And you know, we had Tim, I'll give you a clue also, Tim. If you comment on Penny's channel or her Facebook, learn it is PENNI, not a Y, because she will jump you over that. She says, my name is not Penny, I am not a coin.
My brother the same way about his girlfriend. His girlfriend's ex last name was Ray, and his girlfriend's name's Tamara. And I got this bad habit of calling her Tamara Ray. So when I went on that camping or that trip with him to Arizona and everywhere, I kept on saying, "Where's Tamara Ray at?" My brother would say, "It's Tamara, Alan. It's Tamara, not Tamara Ray."
But we had a blast too, Harrison. Thanks for all the questions and the comments. Thanks to everybody else that gave us questions and comments. We had a blast too. I mean, I'm really excited about it.
Y'all send in your request for topics now, so we'll be able to learn something. Plus, I mean, I wouldn't want to sit and watch a show that I'm bored at, so don't let us bore you. Think of something that you want to hear. If we're not saying what you want to hear already, think of something you want to talk about. Just as long as it has to do with bushcraft and survival, we'll jump on it.
I agree. And if you got anything that you want to ask us personally that you may not want to pop up on the question over there, you can go to either one of us that you have the question for. We've got PMs with our about, just click on it go in there and send us a private message, and one of us two will answer it. And if I don't have the answer and you send it to me, I'll ask Alan. If he don't have it, we'll look it up for you.
Yeah, definitely.
So with that being said, I appreciate everybody that watched it and hung in there with us through this whole thing. And sorry about everybody having to watch my mug. We'll switch you over to Alan. But we thank you. So we're going to go ahead and stop this one out. So thanks again.
Y'all take care. We enjoyed it. We'll see y'all next week.